recording.
All right. Welcome to KMS Brews, another edition. We have the regulars plus a future regular. We're hoping. We have Minifan Kim Jong-un. Hello, sir.
Hello.
We've got Kirk's desk in that beautiful background, getting some vitamin D. Shank over there, a little vitamin D from the window. And our future, hopefully all the time guest, Chris, visiting nurse from Rhode Island. We've heard his voice many times if you listen to the show.
Too many times.
Well, we don't know if it's you or not. I mean, who knows? Can we see your abs?
That's right.
Show us your abs.
Yeah, right. No, you don't want to see this.
Dude, on Twitter, man. But, KMS Brews, we're just here, we're bullshitting. Fuck all the bullshit. No infighting. No infighting on Twitter, no infighting on Discord talk, maybe a little. But, we just like to have fun and have a beer. And that's it. We like to talk KMS. We like to talk our breweries. We like to talk whatever. So let's start with what we're drinking today. Let's start with Kim. What do you got, bud?
So in the fall, last week we did Oktoberfest. So in that, I decided to get the Allagash Haunted House. It is a hoppy dark ale. Kirk's desk hit the nail on the head. It's like a black IPA. It's really, really good. I like it a lot.
Nice. Kirk's desk. Go.
So I'm drinking Sassanoa Brewing Volume 1 Saison. So this is the first beer they brewed, second batch, I think. It's from a small brewery in Maine, which I think I mentioned on one show. 100% organic, and everything is from Maine as well. So it's a nice, dry, rustic Saison. No tartness or anything to that. It's fantastic.
Sounds like an all-day drinker. Awesome.
Yeah, it's about 5%. So.
Oh, beautiful. Shank, go ahead.
So I get Brocktoberfest from Idle Hands Brewing, and so this is their traditional Oktoberfest beer, fest lager, nice malty caramel flavor, totally crushable, just about 5.5%. I know it's a beautiful day today, but we're getting into that fall weather, and this is definitely a must-have.
Yeah, at night it's getting a little cooler, and it's just perfect, these beers. So I have a zero gravity, proper glassware, Oktoberfest. So we've been talking about them. Talked about it last week. It's going to be something moving forward where I'm sure everybody will have one in and out. And Chris, we want to hear a little bit from you. So what are you drinking, man? And then, what are, a couple of your favorite breweries, since it's your first time in the show, just how'd you get into craft, stuff like that?
Yeah, yes. So I'm going with what really got me into craft beer. Weinstefaner, Heffenweizen. Finishing off my summer beers. Light, easy drinking beer. The yeast really takes all control of this beer. Beautiful, golden. I love it. It really got me into it. I went to a beer fest when I was 18 in Canada, and I said, oh, there's more than buying $15 30 racks out there. And then Magic Hat number 9, and then from there on, just beer all the time. Like
so that was your gateway, the Magic Hat number 9, because I'd agree.
Magic Hat number 9. It was my gateway beer. Yeah, I loved it. I just thought it was so easy drinking. It was a little different at the time. It was more something you didn't see. They were like, oh, there's fruit in this beer. And so I really got into that big time. And then, from there, it just like skyrocketed. I started home brewing, and we just started, and breweries started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was, you lose control of it now. It's like I can't even keep up. But,
yeah, right now there's a ton of market saturation. It's terrible.
Oh, it's they're gonna start going by the wayside, which is sad to see, But hopefully they can get a good loyal following and really keep their clientele. But otherwise, you can. I mean, Rhode Island's small as hell. I think there's like at least 20, 30 breweries in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I think, Chris, we're probably pretty close. I live in southeastern Mass on the Rhode Island line. So what's like one of your go-tos down in Rhode Island or close by? Or...
I love Proclamation. When they started back in their little place, I was always going there. So I've always been a fan. And they just pump it out. They pump out so much beer now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is OEC, is that Rhode Island or is that Connecticut?
No,
it's
Connecticut.
Yeah. All right, never mind.
But they're great. We've been starting to get only their lagers come here, not their crazy funky beers, which are great too. My brother lives in Connecticut. He got delivery during Corona from OEC.
Oh,
so
good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I said he'd be getting a ton. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So now Shades On is actually in where Proclamation was.
Yeah,
Shades
exactly.
On's actually pretty good.
Yeah, they're great. They do a lot of good lagers, actually. I recently read that one of their brewers was trained in Germany. So she like studied in Germany. She came here and helps them a lot with their lagers and stuff like that.
And
They-
what's his name from former Proclamation? Now is at Buttonwoods. You know who I'm talking about?
yeah,
the-
Shane.
Shane. So he
Yeah.
did. He was the one that originally did like the Nomenclature, which was one of their huge double IPAs, and now he works at Buttonwoods, which, if you
Yep.
don't know, is in Cranston, and is probably one of my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. The guy,
Yeah.
Morgan, he's a great guy. He brews
Morgan.
excellent beers, and he
And
really
he,
has
he
a nice-
crowdfunded or whatever his entire.
Yeah,
whatever,
he did.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, and he has a great array. He does lagers, he does IPAs, he does sours. He really likes to keep it variety heavy.
Fantastic. I love the Rhode Island beer scene. I really do. Rhode Island, Connecticut, and obviously Mass.
New England Brewing's there too, right? They've been around for a while.
Which one?
New England Brewing, like they made the
Oh, yeah.
the duck ones.
Yeah, and the Gandhi bot, which got a lot
Yeah,
of.
Gandhi, but yeah, that was a long,
yeah.
yeah. Remember that
Yeah,
long
they
time
had
ago? Yeah.
Yeah,
They
my
had
brother.
to change the name.
They did.
I forgot.
Oh, they did. No, it's G-Bot now.
It's
Yeah,
G-Bot.
they changed the picture. Yeah.
Yep.
My brother lives in New York now. Back then, I used to visit, and we'd always hit there on the way down. It's like right next to what's the college? I forgot, but it's a really it's like an Ivy League college. It's right down there. A lot of traffic. So Kirk's Desk, we were talking, and you want to talk a little bit about breweries and the pour size. Expound on that a bit.
So, I before coronavirus, I think probably talk about that more. I love going to breweries. We all love going to breweries. And, there's some breweries that have, 10, 15 beers on tap. You're going to go there one time, right? You're on vacation or so, or even it's, somewhat local. And, I go to some of these places and I'm like, I just want to have a 5-ounce pour, right? And then there are some breweries that, you only have the 10, you only have the 16-ounce pours. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, one, why do these breweries do this? Why can't you have a smaller pour? And, kind of get your ideas. Do you think, do you enjoy having the 16-ounce pour? You like to try multiple different beers at once to kind of get, an understanding of their beers?
I agree with you on this, and I love when breweries do flights. And one of my favorite things ever was when Night Shift first started a long time ago. They always did flights, and it was great. But the one thing I saw on the Facebook groups, as more and more people got into craft beer, there was more and more bitching if people are doing smaller pours. And all they did was bitch and complain because they wanted to go to breweries not to taste beer, but to get drunk and have a good time. And that's kind of what changed in this community. As a lot of people went to breweries to go try beers that they've never had before. And as it got bigger, it got a bigger scene, people said, I'm gonna go to the brewery, I'm gonna go get drunk. And Trillium, when they're in the Fort Point, they shut it down in there because people were hanging out. And if you guys remember the old 4 Point location, it was tiny. You couldn't get your beer and get a pour at the same time. So they shut that thing down, and they obviously opened Canton. And you go there on a weekend before COVID, and people would be there all day getting drunk. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I agree. I like the smaller pours. I want to try a lot of different beers, but I think that a lot of them changed because they saw where the money was, like people coming in there and getting drunk all day, or, things like that. So that's why I think they kind of did it, in my opinion.
Fort Point actually shut down because they never had a license to pour. That's why they shut down.
Really?
Yes. If you look it up, they were fucked. It was right around Christmas time, and nobody could go because of that.
That's interesting because I'll never forget, we were in there when it happened. They told us, they said, the reason we had to shut it down was because it was getting jammed up. So that makes more sense than.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was jammed in there, though. It was crazy. But we talked about this, too, kind of a little bit. Shank, one of the things about breweries that, not that he hates, but things that detracts him is that they might have too many high ABV beers, right, Shank? So, I mean, it is not, I would say it's nice to have both.
Yeah, I definitely like the option of doing smaller pours. I'm generally not someone who gets a flight. If there is an option for a 5-ounce, just a single 5-ounce pour or a 10-ounce pour, I'll usually go with that. The reason I usually stay away from flights is I think it messes with your palate too much. Because if you're going from a stout to a sour to an IPA. It can really throw off the flavor, and in a lot of times it just doesn't do the beer justice. And you're gonna end up, you may not like the beer because you just mixed two that just don't go well together. But I do like to do a small, a single small pour of something that looks interesting.
But that's why they have food though. I mean, they like a lot of places will serve certain foods, like saltier foods, to help cleanse your palate a little. So when
Right.
you do a flight, you're not going to have that issue. I mean, I agree with you. You don't want to, mix beers, a sour than a stout and things like that.
Yeah.
But that's why they serve certain foods at some of these places. And when night shift at the beginning brought in specific food trucks that they knew would work when they were doing those things. So I agree with you, but I also think that if you do it right, you can do a flight and get it done.
Yeah, you almost have to be taught that. Like you have to be told, here, make sure you have some food in between. They have sorbet or something. I mean, that's a little bougie, but
Sorry.
So
Yeah,
sorry,
no,
guys.
I think you guys make a good point in that kind of aspect of like, you don't want to go from a stout to a sour. But what Kirk Death said, if they have like 15 beers and you're like, I'm only going to be here once, and I really want to make the bang for my buck and have like a sampling of their best stuff, I like if you're going to some like upstate New York and you're not going to be there. It's like, yeah, I agree with that. That's a good premise. I mean, I think one of the things about saying getting drunk at the tap house is like Trillium and stuff. I mean, Treehouse, they only allow 2 pours, and I know they want
Right.
things just moving and going, but they don't want people hanging out there. I know they're swamped all the time, but they're just like, move along.
No, they have the Hill Farmstead model. That's what they do.
Yep,
They want people to just in and out, and sometimes they don't even do 2 pours, just 1. It all depends like what time you get there.
Yep.
Alchemist used what was that hurricane that came through and flooded Vermont? Because the Alchemist used that as an excuse to shut down, doing tastings inside their building. They used that because they said that the roads were all flooded out, but they used that as an excuse. A lot of people said, rumors were, but they used that excuse to shut down the tastings because they wanted to do the same thing. They wanted people in and out for the longest time.
Alchemist only does like small pours anyway. They don't do full pours.
Well, yeah, they changed it since then. It was
Oh, okay.
what was this, like 2011, like 2012 when
wow.
when the hurricane came. It was, what is it, Irene, the one that went right up Vermont.
Is that,
and it
is that
washed
the one that
everything
messed
out.
up their entire,
Yep.
fucked up their entire cannery?
Yeah.
All right,
Just-
so, go ahead.
Just real quick, talking about flights. I don't know if you guys have ever been out to Russian River in California. They do the Pliny the Elder,
Wish.
which is a great beer. But you can do a flight with up to 20 beers there. So basically, you can get everything that they have on tap in a flight, and they bring it out on this giant pallet with a handle in the middle, and they'll put bottle caps from all the beers in front of the each tasting glass, so you can see what it is, and it's really cool. It's quite the sight when you see people ordering them, and it's definitely a kind of a novelty thing for them because no place is doing a flight that size. But when I did go out there, I did get that, and I think we got probably about 16 of what they had, because like we're here, let's try as much as we can.
Oh, for sure.
It looks
Let's
really
get warm though. You got to drink that fast. It gets warm and
yeah
and
yeah.
Some beers are better warm.
I wish they'd distribute here. I love their beer. I really wish they would come east.
Oh, they're awesome.
They send their sours to New York at least. I mean, it shouldn't be too.
They do the
New
Pennsylvania.
York gets
I know they
everything
do.
because of the city.
Yeah.
So I've never had it. Pliny, never had it.
Wow.
I've had their sours, Temptation, and all their other stuff, but I just haven't come across it. I don't know.
So Pliny is one of those hype beers. It's
it is
fantastic. And I had DDH Pliny a month ago. I think we talked about it on the show, but even better. But it's definitely, I mean, especially if you're a craft beer fan, to know you tried Pliny, it's just one of those things.
I know. That's what I'm just like. It's just eluded me so long. I guess I haven't really tried.
Yeah,
Minimal
I mean,
effort.
obviously you could trade for it if need be. If you don't like trading, one of us can help with it. Help it out. But so we were thinking of another thing to do today, Kim. A box from one of the sponsors of KMS, and been throwing this idea around of of opening it up during the show. So what do we
Yes.
got?
So I obviously, like everybody else, when Kirk gets a sponsor, I try to support them. And one of the ones that I immediately signed up for was Box of Awesome by Bespoke Post. And, the first month, they have you fill out a form, and you give your taste, you give your size on clothes and everything like that. And I just set it and forget it. So the first month I got a cold brew machine, which I actually needed because my last cold brew broke. So it was like perfect timing. And then this month, this past month, they sent me a brew kit. And I've never truly home brewed by myself, which was kind of funny. I've brewed with my friends, but I've never done it solo. So I'm going to open up and see kind of what we got going here.
Wow. We need anybody
So excited.
some background music.
I love gifts.
Drum roll. Bespoke Oh yeah, that can't even be a gallon. What the hell is that? It's so small.
I gotta see it.
I kind of like the cold. How's the cold brew thing?
So it is brooklynbrewshop.com is the vendor that they used.
Okay.
It is an IPA kit, Cascade hops, loaded with fresh, citrus, packed with hops, blah, 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 blah.
All right. First thing I want you to do, did they give you yeast?
We'll find out.
Check the date on that yeast.
Just like a little card, just to show this stuff. All right, here we go.
I feel like
Yes, there is
I'm on
The
YouTube
yeast
right
comes separate from Blind Mike's penis.
the yeast. The date on the yeast. Oh god, it only has,
Here we go.
has an expiration date on it. It doesn't have an actual date.
It's got a Julian code. You got to figure that shit out.
Yeah, it just has an expiration date of 03/2023.
Oh wow. Well,
So it
there
has
you go.
some Cascade hops,
All right.
beer making yeast.
Beer making.
Beer making yeast. Cascade warm hops.
Bottle caps.
Oh, come on. I love
Is
it.
that capper? Is that little thing a capper?
Yeah.
What do you use, like a hammer for that thing? Does it tell you what to do?
I'm waiting. I'm looking for the instructions. So far, I haven't found them.
This is great.
It just says good luck.
Wait, what was that? Was that a hydrometer?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is. Hydrometer in here.
Very cool.
Hydrometer in there.
There's your grain.
Their beer. They call it beer making mix.
For the layman folk. Oh, they should have done this on the show. This would have been great.
This
Here's
is
all the-
grain
The
too.
tube.
All the tubing. And a 1 gallon jug.
Oh, so it is 1 gallon. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I was curious with how small the box was, but when you opened it up, they got it all in there. No, so what I'll do is I'll make this, and then at another show I'll taste it and see if how badly I fucked it up or not, because I've never done this before. But it has all the packets do have the instructions on them,
Okay.
what you're supposed to do in the process. So I'm not too stupid, so I think I should be able to figure this out.
Yeah, it's all about, honestly, after you're fermenting or as you're fermenting, the cleanliness and the oxygen, making sure there's none in it, keeping it closed, keeping it, light away from it, all stuff like that.
Did they,
But
they
this
put
only
sanitizer
cost me
on
like $47 or something like that. It was, I mean, it's basically you can choose to opt out if you want. So,
Yep.
I just set it, like I said, I set it and forget it and just let things start coming to my house. It's like a present once a month for myself. But yeah, it was like $47. So fuck it. It's be a fun little thing to try this weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I mean, that's a good pilot type system.
I just
That
have to
makes
say
it the
they're
right time.
spot on with this stuff because I love coffee and I love beer, and I just filled out that form. And of course, the 2 first months was a coffee maker and for cold brew, and then a beer kit. So
And what do? Like, they ask you questions and shit?
yeah, it's a form that you just fill out, like your size for clothes, what you like. There's all sorts of like clothing packs and outdoors packs, and I love Manhattans, and I'm guessing that at one point I'm going to get their Manhattan set because I saw that as one of the gifts as well. But no, it's pretty cool. I highly recommend the Box of Awesome from Bespoke Post. So
Yeah, we'll definitely tag them in here. I mean, obviously, anybody that is advertising with KMS is somebody that we enjoy and would love to. I kind of want to do like one of DC's advertisements right now, but I'm not going to.
Don't do it.
Everyone just hits the 30-second jump button.
Everyone's like, all right, that was a great episode. Fantastic. No,
But I'm on the website for them now, and this is, it's really cool. They give you, it looks like a 10-question survey. Are you interested in barware and mixology? So very interested. Home decor and accessories. This is really cool.
Nice.
Before we sign off, I want to say something that Chris said earlier. Do you guys know that Magic Hat's finally 100% leaving Vermont? Like that is like one of the most like disturbing news that I heard.
I heard about that.
It's bothering me because you have all these breweries that started in certain places that get bought out and then they moved. I think they're moving to Rochester, New York, is where they put all the locations for them. But it just kind of sucks. It kind of pisses me off. It is Rochester.
Yeah.
I mean, I went there, a ton of times. When it was whatever it was called. I forgot what they changed it to when they sold out. And it was cool. It was fun, but like everybody that worked there really didn't seem into beer. It kind of just seemed like the cool thing to do. Like I work in a college and I want to work at a brewery. Nobody really seemed knowledgeable. It was like black lights everywhere. It was almost like
the space was kind of cool because they had that little, you could do the self-guided tour through everything. And, they had some pretty cool stuff kind of like in their little museum, I guess. So it was, kind of a nice space. But, I think Magic Hat, they kind of ran their course. And I don't know if they really ever kept up with just kind of the trends and, what people are starting to like. I think they kind of relied on that number 9 for so long and, people just outgrew it.
Yeah, totally. Like I said, I used to drink it all the time and I haven't had it in, it's been years now. And all their other stuff they tried, but it was all subpar. It was all just like,
They have some stuff on tap that is only available there. Like they might have put it in a mix pack recently. It was like a 1-chair pale ale. That was very good. They throw some other stuff. So they tried to like keep it relevant and stuff like that. And some of the people there, I mean, it was a cool spot. I agree with Shane. But they just didn't keep up with it.
That's what I like about. That's what I said. That's what I liked about Sam Adams. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all heard the stories when, he went into certain restaurants in Boston and saw that his beers were being taken off and he had a little hissy fits. But he at least tried to then create beers that would, rival the New England IPAs. They actually did decide to. People like Magic Hat, I agree with you. They just kind of sold their beer and just did their own thing. At least people like Sam Adams. I still don't love a lot of their newer IPAs or juicier IPAs. I don't think they do a great job with them. But at least they tried. And I give them credit for that they at least tried to, get into the new scene, try new beers. So I give them credit for that. But you're right, Cameo. There's a lot of places that just said, screw it. We're just going to continue to make this beer and we're going to go out of business eventually.
The thing about Sam Cooke, he's not a dummy. He's a businessman. So he knows. He sees a trend and he goes into it. It might not always, hit. I mean, I think their New England IPA is decent. They do $10 a 4-pack, 16-ounce cans. That's pretty cheap. It's decent. So before we wrap up, I'm going to ask Chris first. I have a little question on a theme of the show this week. And it's because I was on the shitter today and I had a beer. And I'm thinking, do you guys ever sit on the toilet and have a beer? So Chris, tell me yes or no and your most memorable beer on the shitter, if you have one.
Truthfully, probably when I was wasted, but maybe before I'm taking a shower and I have that shower beer.
Exactly.
I'll have a nice, refreshing, like nobody's home. I can use this shitter as long as I want, and I'm gonna clean up after this and not have to. Am I sitting or standing? Am I, I don't have to go through it. But yeah. You threw me off guard, but yeah.
That's what I try to do. That's why I didn't tell you guys before. Kirk's desk, what about you? Are you shitting and drinking your beer right now?
No, not right now. But I prefer to have champagne when I'm sitting on my bidet because I like the sparkles and all of all of the water coming up in the air. So that's what I prefer to do rather than beer. So maybe a brewed IPA I'll drink on the shitter.
Wow, a brew IP. That sounds fantastic. Honestly, that needs to be more of a staple style. Brewed
I like the
IPA.
brewed
I love
IPA.
it.
I do.
Oh, the effervescence and just it's so good, so good. Shank, go ahead.
Yeah, I've never had a beer while taking a shit, but I am a big fan of the shower beer.
Okay.
Especially in the summer when, it's 90 degrees out and you just want something to kind of cool down. At the end of the night, I'm a big fan of that.
So the thing about me is shower beer. I don't like to be standing there and getting water poured on me and drinking a beer, but I'll like chug half a beer before I go in, take a shower, and just know that I have another half a beer to go back to. I love it.
Yeah.
So I do love this shower beer. Kim, what about you?
First of all, I disagree with you. Shower beers are the greatest thing in the world.
Okay.
I love shower beers.
That's it. Agree, disagree.
But it's the same with these guys. I mean, actually, since I moved into this house when I used to live in Braintree, I haven't done a shower beer in 2 years, which is, I just was thinking about this. But yeah, it was probably a couple years ago, shower beer, same thing. Just got out, had to go to the bathroom, and then went back into the shower, kept drinking the same beer. So
Fantastic. What about the shitter? You didn't say that one.
no, I was saying, like, yeah, I got out, was still drinking the beer, took a shit, and then got back into the shower, and still drinking the same beer.
Drink a lot of
Nice.
shitty beer.
There you go.
We all had shitty beer, right?
Yeah.
Background
Yeah.
lagers.
You have like a Rolling Rock on the shitter. You do something like that,
Yeah, I mean, that would work fine.
Yeah.
Shitty beer for a shitter.
All right, guys. Anything else to close out? I mean, I think we're getting close to the time as usual. Fantastic time.
Good show.
I got nothing.
Yeah. I think we're good. Thank
When
you.
we finish this up, Chris needs to be doing a little dance. On his abs, on his way out.
I need some abs from. Now,
Yeah,
Chris.
no, you guys do not want to see this one beer away from a beer belly over here.
Chris, do you know who the other people are that call in to pretend to be you?
Yeah, what
That
the fuck's
guy-
going
he hit me up on
on?
Can you explain
That's
this?
fucking bullshit.
The guy hit me up on Twitter, and I was like, "You just do your thing, man. That's fine." I don't know. My calls are terrible, so I'm like, God. They say like just that he has one fan. It's
So funny.
unbelievable.
No,
It's
all
just
the
value, you know.
the middle ladies were going crazy. Goldilocks was going crazy.
No, I think I posted something on Twitter of my real stomach, and I was like, "There it is. You ladies want it? Here it is."
All right, guys, this is awesome. Chris, visiting nurse from Rhode Island. Glad to have you on for the first time. And we have,
Cheers, guys.
Shank, Kirk's Desk,
Cheers.
Kim Jong-un. Love this. We'll definitely do it again very soon. Cheers from KMS Brews. Have one on us. Later.